Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, I'm so glad to see everybody here today. Yay. Ah. We have a special day getting ready to be underway at Unity of Fort Collins today. Our own Courtney is speaking today. And Courtney is such a gift to this community in every way. Courtney does the Facebook and social media things. She's everywhere all the time. And she speaks. So, thank you so much. You're such a gift, Courtney. Anybody new to Unity of Fort Collins this morning that would like a packet plunked in your hand? Yay. We're just a little different we are a little different. But every week we're a little different too. So there's a context to this community, which is we're a team, we're a community-led organization, and our spiritual leaders are our inspiration and our magic, but the community does everything all the time. So we are not focused on our spiritual leaders as the glue. This is our church, and the spiritual leaders offer the magic. But spiritual leaders come and go, and our unity lasts. So I'm not very interested in having Jim and Sharon come and go. I don't take it like that. But I just want you to know that our unity is us. Our church is us. So it's really a special place. Yesterday, we had a yard sale, which was way more than that. It was unbelievable. Everybody brought stuff, and good stuff, and it was a extravaganza, I would say. We made $3,300. $3,300! And Leanne, who is the meister of that whole thing, is too tired to be here today. So we send our love to Leanne. But I have this little vision of giving Leanne a standing ovation the next time we see her. So when next time Leanne comes in, we're going to just let her have it with love. That just sounds great. Okay. We have a prayer chaplain program here, so people who are interested in holding others in prayer, learning to do that, have signed up to be prayer chaplains. And every week we have somebody who volunteers to be back here in the Myrtle room in case anybody has something that they would love to just have held in prayer at after the service today. So Janice, here in the back, is our prayer chaplain today, and she'll be there for you if you're interested. The other thing I want to say about that garage sale is that everything left went off to ARC, and then there was some stuff that got left by the side of the road, and Robert showed up this morning, and it was all gone. So sometimes things just happen overnight. So it's a beautiful thing. Denise, would you come up and be ready Come on up. I didn't see you that close.
Good morning. My name's Denise, and I just wanted to remind everybody that my husband and I are having the Friday Fun Night for Unity at our home this Friday night at 6 o'clock, and everybody is welcome. And we're planning to be in the backyard for a good time around the fire pit, and we have games, we have plenty of seating, we'll have food, and maybe we'll get lucky enough to have some music people show up or something, I don't know. But anyway, I just wanted to let you all know that everybody's welcome, and we're looking forward to a great time. There's chickens to feed as well for kids and adults, and I think you can sign up on the events page on the Unity website. If you're interested or if you have any questions, please find me. Thank you. Wait, Kamina and Will said so. You can bring food if you'd like. We'll have a grill available and all of the appliances inside of the house as well for anything that you need. But we'll also be providing some food. And Lil, I don't know if I can remember all those chickens' names. Leaf's the one that's good at that, and he's not here today. But you'll have to come meet him. Thank you.
My favorite is rubber. Yeah, the rubber chicken. Yes. There's a new book study starting on October 4th. Sharon is leading discussion about the book My Stroke of Insight, which is about a woman who experienced a stroke and lived in her right brain for a period of time and discovered the God spot in her brain, I think is how you might talk about that. It's a fabulous book. Meeting every Wednesday at 1 in the Friendship Room. And the Stroke of Insight books are in the bookstore. So it's quite a thing. On October 13th, we'll be having a special music fundraiser at Unity. It's John and his folks and Elise. No, she has a gig. It's John's whole people. And the choir. So it's going to be a extravaganza. We're going to do tickets so we know kind of what to expect. Suggested love offering of $20. And we will be providing chili that night. The council members are cooking chili, so there will be food at the music fundraiser. Julie's passing around a clipboard for signups for October, December, all the volunteer positions, including readers and things like that. You might have noticed that we take turns looking for and providing readings here. It's fun. Okay. Suzanne Carter will be facilitating a workshop called The Art, Heart, and Science of True Friendship. Suzanne is a Unity minister. There are brochures on the table, but it sounds like a kind of special workshop about finding deeper friendships. Community Lunch Bunch goes to Jason's Deli today after the service. And the marketplace is in the back. So people have signed up offering services, things they have to offer, and you can buy those as part of our fundraising effort. All right, thanks so much. Big deep sigh. We'll get ourselves centered here. Our unity centers us in light and peace, allowing us to recognize our God within and to radiate that love to the world. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. This is a song Courtney recommended, so please join in if you feel compelled. There was a boy, a very strange, enchanted boy. They say he wandered very, very far over land and sea. A little shy in the shadow eye, but very wise was he. And then one day, one magic day, he passed my way. While we spoke of many things, fools and kings, this is what he said. The greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. The greatest thing. The greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. Now a reading by Dale.
Good morning. I'm Dale Pettigrew, also known as Dahlia. That's another story I'll tell you another time. I have often when I meet new people and we talk about the things we've done in our lives, I talk about my llamas. This is a footnote to the talk that I gave last month. Often new people will say to me, "Don't llamas spit?" And I say, "Do dogs bite?" After almost 40 years of sharing my life with llamas, I am living proof that spit never drew blood. Okay. So today's talk or reading came to me from a friend, and I gave Julie a title for it, but I'm going to change that title now. It's the same talk, but a different title. And then it is winter. You know, time has a way of moving quickly and catching you unaware of the passing years. It seems just yesterday that I was young, just married, embarking on my new life with my mate. Yet in a way, it seems like eons ago. And I wonder where all the years went. I know that I have lived them all. I have glimpses of how it was back then and of all my hopes and dreams. But here it is. The winter of my life catches me by surprise. How did I get here so fast? Where did the years go, and where did my youth go? I remember seeing older people through the years and thinking that those older people were years away from me,
and the winter was so far off that I could not fathom it or imagine fully what it would be like. But here it is, my friend. My friends are retired and getting gray. They move slower, and I see an older person now. Some are in better, and some are in worse shape than me, but I see the great change. Not like the ones I remember who were young and vibrant, but like me, their age is beginning to show. And we are now those older folks that we used to see and never thought we would be. Each day now, I find that just getting a shower is a real target for the day. And taking a nap is not a treat anymore. It's mandatory. Because if I don't do it on my own free will, I just fall asleep where I sit. And so, now I enter into this new season of my life, unprepared for all the aches and pains and the loss of strength and ability to go and do things that I wish I had done but never did. But at least I know that though the winter has come and I'm not sure how long it will last, I know this: when it's over, it's not over. A new adventure will begin. Yes, I have regrets. There are things I wish I hadn't done, things I should have done but didn't. And indeed, there are many things I'm happy to have done. It's all in this lifetime. So, if you're not in your winter yet, let me remind you that it will be here faster than you think. So whatever you would like to accomplish in your life, please do it quickly. Don't put things off too long. Life goes by quickly, so do what you can today, as you can never be sure whether this is your winter or not. You have no promise that you will see all the seasons of your life, so live for today and say all the things that you want your loved ones to remember, and hope that they will appreciate and love you for all the things you have done for them in all the years past. Life is a gift to you. The way you live your life is your gift to those who come after. Make it a fantastic one. Live well, enjoy today, do something fun, be happy, have a great day. Remember that it is health that is real wealth and not pieces of gold and silver. Lastly, live happy in this year and every year. Lastly, consider the following. Today is the oldest you've ever been and the youngest you'll ever be. So enjoy this day while it lasts. Your days are becoming you. Going out is good. Coming home is better. You forget names, but it's okay because other people forgot they even knew you. You realize you're never going to be really good at anything. The things you used to care to do, you no longer care to do, but you really do care that you don't care to do them anymore. You sleep better in a lounge chair with the TV blaring than in bed. It's called pre-sleep. You miss the days when everything worked with just an on and off switch. You tend to use more four-letter words. What? When? What? Now that you can afford expensive jewelry, it's not safe to wear it anywhere. You notice everything they sell in the stores is sleeveless. What used to be freckles are now age spots. Everybody whispers. You have 3 sizes of clothes in your closet, 2 of which you'll never wear. But old is good in some things. Old songs, old movies, and best of all, old friends. Stay well, old friend. Send this on to other old friends and let them laugh in agreement. It's not what you gather, but what you scatter, that tells what kind of life you have lived. As you grow up, you will have your heart broken more than once, and it's harder every time. You'll break hearts too, so remember how it felt when yours was broken. You'll fight with your best friend, you'll cry because time is passing too fast, and you'll eventually lose someone you love. So take too many pictures, laugh too much, and love like you'll never get hurt. Because every 60 seconds you spend upset is a minute of happiness you'll never get back.
Thank you, Dale. That was great. This is a new one I wrote, so please join along. I'll be teaching you, but we'll do the chorus multiple times, so hopefully you'll pick up by the end. May I be mighty as an oak tree, rooted deeply into the earth. May I be free as the golden eagle. May I be humble as a bumblebee. Oh, to be grateful. I am thankful. Oh, just to be. Oh, to be grateful. I am thankful. Oh, just to be. May I be expansive as the ocean, holding space for both peace and storm. And though the waves may topple me over, help me see I am the sea. Oh, to be grateful. I am thankful. Oh, just to be. Oh, to be grateful. I am thankful. Oh, just to be. And when the darkness closes in, lightning crashing, waves a thundering, may I remember love is the ocean, love is the ocean. Oh, to be grateful. I am thankful. just to be, oh, to be grateful. I am thankful, oh, just to be. One more. Grant us compassion in action, relaxing to harmony, or to sing like the golden eagle, and to be humble as the bumblebee. The chorus all together. Oh, to be grateful. I am thankful, oh, just to be, oh, to be grateful. I am thankful, oh, just to be. One more time all together. Oh, to be grateful. I am thankful, oh, just to be, oh, to be grateful. I am thankful, oh, just to be. Good job.
Oops, that's awesome. Is that on your CD?
No, I
Oh, you got to add that one. Add that one. That's awesome. Oh, good morning, and thanks, Elise, for all the beautiful music, and thanks, Dahlia, for your great talk. I want a copy of that. That was really good. So, my talk today is on my journey with lovingness. It's on how life, with a capital L, led me to deepen my understanding of lovingness as a way to work on a block in me that over the years had prevented me from the full experience of receiving and giving love. A little background, I grew up with very loving parents, married a very loving man. I have a very loving daughter and many loving friends. So to hear my story, you wouldn't think I'd have issues with lovingness, but things happen. And I've since learned to appreciate all these role models in my life that I truly believe were divine gifts to help me on this journey. But when I was younger, I got my feelings hurt in a way that led me to close down my heart and not feel as safe and open as I had been. Once I did that, ego jumped right into that driver's seat and definitely made things worse. I tended to shut people out. I had a hard time trusting others, and I got into judging. In that state, I had a hard time letting love in and didn't express my love to others very often. It wasn't all the time and with all people, but it was there often enough that I knew it was part of my spiritual journey to work on it. And once I realized I didn't want to live like that anymore, I set the intention to reopen my heart and learn how to love more fully. I started out by asking for divine help in fulfilling that intention. And of course, divinity brought me what I needed. So my talk will focus on the lessons and insights that I've learned so far, because I'm still working on it. So let's start with the core truth that I learned from Unity, that God's essence is love. God's not a person or an entity. The essence of God is lovingness. It's what permeates the universe, including us. No description can adequately convey what divinity is, but the closest experience we have of it is love. Not the kind of love that goes away when the person you think you love does something you don't like. No, that's an emotion. The love that is divine arises from within with no prompting. It's innate in all of us. It's what we are, and it's what's all around us. Let's see if I can do this today. Yeah, there it is. So Dr. Hudgens teaches there's actually an invisible, all-encompassing energy field of love that surrounds everyone and everything. This quote is from this book, The Power of Love, written by Fran Grace, which was one of Doc's students. And in it, he's interviewed, but there are 20 other people that teach about love in the book. It's really a fabulous one. So That's what this quote is from. Doc goes on to say that the world is radiant with the splendor of love. I don't think I saw the world as radiant with love back then. And I think it was mainly because we tend to define love in its form as an emotion, like infatuation or desire. But emotional love is limited and temporary because it puts the source of our loving feelings out there, and we feel like we need someone or something in order to feel love, and that makes it vulnerable to change. Compared to the emotion of love, which comes and goes, as we progress spiritually, we begin to experience the state of lovingness, which doesn't fluctuate and is a way of being in the world. It doesn't have an object. It doesn't depend on external conditions or behavior. As Ram Dass says in his book, Polishing the Mirror, to enter into the space of conscious love, you become love, not loving someone or something, just being love. Coming from our lovingness is like wearing a pair of colored glasses. The world just does not look the same, and it's experienced in a completely different manner. Dr. Hawkins says in Transcending the Levels of Consciousness, in the state of love, the world looks more benign, and people appear more friendly. We feel a sense of safety in the world, and there arises an increased concern for the welfare and happiness of others. We become more nurturing, accepting, and supportive. Love shows up in so many ways beyond the familiar expressions of emotional love. As Dr. Hawkins says, love prevails throughout the ordinary, but we just don't recognize it as love. Attention to responsibilities, encouraging a colleague, taking care of one's health. Here's part of a list that Dr. Hawkins created showing the wide range of expressions that love can take. I'll just read a few of the ones that really surprised me. But decent, responsible, honest, orderly, ethical. Isn't that remarkable? I just hadn't considered these as expressions of love. But when you look at each of them, we see that love is the motivation behind them. For me, when I first heard this teaching and my heart felt the truth of it, I started to cry because it turned out that part of my block was that I have that same critical voice, negative patterns in my head that many of us do, and mine was telling me that I was not a loving person and I'd never get it. I think that voice partly arose because of all those loving people in my life I mentioned earlier. They expressed their love so easily and effortlessly, and it just didn't come easily to me at the time. But as I looked through this new lens and tried on this idea of a broader definition of love, I could see I was not devoid of love. I could see instead how lovingness was at the core of many of the things I did that I thought were just routine or being an adult. Cooking, cleaning, scooping the litter box. These are all motivated by my love of my family and my pets. But I just didn't realize it until it was pointed out. As Dr. Hawkins says, love, in fact, is the motivator behind the majority of our actions. So love is a prevailing energy field. It's a way of being with oneself and others, a way of being in the world, a way of seeing and appreciating life and all of creation. He points out that we can actually use this truth as a tool. He says we bring more love into our lives simply by consciously focusing on its presence as a motivator in everyday life. He gives the example of someone wanting to lose a few pounds or just in general have a healthier body. Instead of coming from hate of our body or self-criticism for our lack of willpower, or instead of coming out of fear of death or disease, we can turn it around and out of lovingness, treat our body nicely, give it exercise and healthy food, and the occasional treat, of course. But we can bring love and appreciation to our body and let that love motivate our healthy behaviors. So what do we do when that critical voice comes up? How do we give up self-judgment or guilt about our behavior? Well, first, of course, if our behavior was truly hurtful, we have to take responsibility for that and make amends. But then we can let go of the situation. We don't have to let it turn into self-hatred or guilt. Self-hatred and guilt only anchor the behavior in place. The only way to dissolve those negative behaviors is with love of ourselves, just as we are, judgments, resentments, and all. In order to do that, Dr. Hawkins says in The Power of Love, view your ego as a little animal, a furry little pet. It's not evil for wanting this or that. The ego can't help what it wants. It merely seeks its own survival. Egocentrism is successful for survival in the animal world. If you see the ego as a furry little animal, you stop hating it. You can watch its greediness without joining in its greediness. Treat your ego with compassion, and it calms down. And he says, unless the animal self is understood and accepted, its influence can't be diminished. Like a pet, the inner animal can be comical and entertaining, and we can enjoy it without guilt and look forward to getting it trained and properly housebroken. In other words, our ego is the part of us that operates from our inherited animal instincts. It's just doing its job when it gets mad that somebody took the biggest piece of pie or got the promotion that we wanted. Recontextualizing the ego this way allows us to see its innocence, find the humor in it, and love it. I'm at the point these days where I do laugh at my furry little ego and its patterns. When I notice myself judging now, I can hear Flip Wilson's voice in my head. Here come the judge. You young people don't know who Flip Wilson is, but he was funny. But this teaching has really helped me so much to have compassion for this human that's trying so hard to evolve and being so confused at times and being so hard on itself. And to have compassion for all the other humans experiencing the same struggle. This compassion is also known as forgiveness. As Dr. Hawkins says, forgiveness is an aspect of love that allows us to see life events from the viewpoint of grace. We forgive ourselves for the errors we made when we were less evolved. We love our ego and accept it for what it is, a cute little animal who doesn't know any better. We transcend the smaller aspects of ourselves by accepting them and loving them. We see the ego as limited, not bad. That's a big one. It occurred to me one day that if I put one drop of black ink on a great big white canvas, I don't call the canvas black now, but that's exactly what I was doing to myself. If I had one screw up, I would immediately call myself bad and define myself as that imperfection. It's one thing to see and acknowledge that we have areas where we need to improve, but it's another to attack ourselves with self-condemnation. This advice to spiritual seekers by Dr. Hawkins, in The Power of Love, it just sums it up so perfectly. It's an illusion that spiritually evolved people never have a negative feeling. To have a human existence, you can't be in a celestial state all the time and still survive. They need to have compassion for their human condition and all that goes with it, nervous system, brain function, and the vicissitudes of life. Feeling annoyed and frustrated is part of the human condition. It's best to let go of guilt about being an ordinary human who has ordinary human feelings. Acceptance of your innate humanness brings peace. They have to realize that feelings come and go, whereas the commitment to evolve is more significant and unwavering. Here's the thing, as Dr. Hawkins points out, the negative emotions and thoughts are human, temporary, and ever-changing. They arise from our conditioning. They're not what we are. Our true self is that unchanging, loving awareness. So other than accepting our humanness and giving up guilt and self-condemnation, what else can we do to access this state of lovingness? Well, first off, Dr. Hawkins teaches, do not try to be loving. We can't force it or make it happen. Anita Moorjani, in her incredible book about her near-death experience called Dying to Be Me, vividly describes experiencing the infinite lovingness of the divine that she experienced in that state. She says that through that experience, she learned when we know that we are love, we don't need to work at being loving towards others. Instead, we just have to be true to ourselves, and we become instruments of loving energy, which touches everyone we come into contact with. So our work is not to act more loving, but to surrender the blocks to our innate, natural flow of love. As Dr. Hawkins teaches, we might picture love to be like sunlight and negative thoughts like clouds, whereas our higher, greater self is like the sun. All the negative thoughts and doubts, fears and anger and resentments that we hold, they're like the clouds that dim the light of that sun until finally the light comes through only weakly. But just like the sun is already shining when the clouds move away, when we surrender our negative blocks, our true self as lovingness just radiates forth spontaneously with no other effort. So we don't have to make ourselves more loving. We already are divine lovingness. If you think about it, these negative emotional states literally block the free flow of love because we can't be angry or righteous and also feel love at the same time, right? When I realized that and saw how my negative patterns were actually sabotaging my intention to reopen my heart, that really helped to loosen the grip they had on me. Now when I'm able to catch a negative emotion coming up, I can just remember my intention and I just gently choose again. No condemnation, no berating myself, just a do-over. Another practice to help us access our lovingness is to remember that love inherently has incredible power. Dr. Hawkins teaches in The Power of Love that one loving thought has the power to cancel out all negative thoughts from the week. So the more time we hang out in loving thoughts and emotions and making loving choices, the less powerful those negative states become in us. He says we can also use that power to deepen our experience of divinity by setting a 3-part goal to love what we do, whether it's playing golf, riding bikes, cooking pancakes, doesn't matter. Love what we are and love whom we're with to the best of our ability. He says that takes us straight to God, our source, the unlimited energy field of divine love. He points out that people look for a special spiritual technique or a secret mantra that will rocket launch them to nirvana. But all it takes is to be a kind and caring person in everyday life, to love all of life in all of its expressions, without exception, including yourself. Loving it all without exception is what we call unconditional love. But what does that mean? Does that mean we have to love that person? I mean, that one? Oh gosh, yeah, it does. But Dr. Hawkins explains again, we don't force ourselves to feel love towards a criminal, for example, by trying to see him in a way that we think we should, like, oh, he's just a child of God, or he's somebody to be pitied, or a victim of his upbringing. No, he teaches us to just lay down our judgment and leave judgment to God. In The Power of Love, he says, unconditional love is to not want to change anyone. You see that everyone is doing the best they can, or else they do it differently. And the same is true for you and me. Unconditional love doesn't expect anything from others. There's no hidden agenda, and we don't keep score. As Dr. Hawkins says, we have no limitations or demands on others that they should be a certain way in order to be loved. We love them no matter how they are, even if they're obnoxious. However, he reminds us not to be naive. We don't forget whom we're dealing with. He says, I accept the alligator and how it kills to eat, but I don't go swimming in a lake full of alligators. So of course we put the criminal behind bars. We're responsible for the safety of others. But the state of unconditional love recontextualizes him as limited. He's only evolved to the level he has. He's not bad or unlovable. As I put these lessons into practice with the speed of a glacier, the blocks did start to melt, and I started to open. At one point recently, many of the lessons came together for me and led to one of my bigger shifts as I saw clearly for the first time that the critical voice in my mind, it had been lying to me, that I had been in an extended period of what the Course in Miracles calls an attack on myself. And I could see that when I used to try to be more loving, that was an attack too, because it's coming from a self-judgment saying I wasn't loving enough. But I can see now that that's not the truth of who I am. Yay. Lisa Natoli, a teacher of awakening and healing, says, Getting to the place where you can see what you're doing to yourself, to see all the ways you attack and judge yourself privately, all the ways you attack and judge others and situations, it can seem to take enormous time, in my case, years. But it doesn't matter, because once this inner activity of attack and judgment is seen, it's game over. And I have found that to be 100% true. The minute we're courageous enough to see our negative patterns, they can't be unseen. And they start to dissolve because they lose their power over us. The key is knowing that it's our choice whether to believe our thoughts or not. As Dr. Hawkins says, our thoughts are like items on a conveyor belt. They're just an endless stream of arbitrary thoughts and fears and concepts that parade through our minds constantly. But we don't have to pick any of them up or believe them or even do battle with them. When we can see that they're untrue, we just take our attention off of them and let them pass on by. This has been an amazing lesson for me. By rejecting these self-condemning thoughts, that guilt and shame and attack on myself has almost completely dissolved. The tension in my heart has eased, and more I'm opening, softening, and allowing love in and out. Now I'm more in that place that Pema Chodron teaches about in her book, Practicing Peace, where we find the soft spot and the tenderness in that very uneasy place and stay with it. If we can stay with the soft spot and stay with the tender heart, then we are cultivating the seeds of peace and thereby love. Be with all that is as it is. This slide is a post from my Deeper Joy page, and it's probably the most transformational lesson I've learned on this path. Buddha taught it as letting go of attachments and aversions. Dr. Hawkins teaches it as letting go of positionalities and opinions. Michael Singer calls it letting go of likes and dislikes. Sun Sang teaches the way is not difficult for those without preferences. I try to use this lesson to be as present as I can be to people, surroundings, experiences. When I'm present to everything just as it is, the lovingness in me can flow freely because there's no barriers, no thinkingness trying to block it or edit it or shut it down. But we can forget that this great lesson also applies to our own path and our own human limitations. This journey has taught me to love everything just as it is, even me. We're all here perfectly imperfect. What we want to call our faults are part and parcel of our perfection because everything is in a state of evolution, including us. Also pretty recently, I experienced some profound changes in my life when I began to use this lesson as compassionate listening. Reverend Jim did a talk about this one Sunday this last spring, and he has a chapter about deep listening in his book called Collective Wisdom. About this practice, Thich Nhat Hanh says, listening with mindfulness helps you to keep your compassion alive. And that's been profoundly true for me. When I have all my focus on the person in front of me and not on my triggers, my opinions, what I want to say in response, it makes space in me for the love to flow. And this is important in our difficult conversations as well as our everyday ones. For example, my husband loves to fish. If any of you have talked to him about fishing, you will know this. I mean, he really loves it. He can talk about bug hatches and lures and river conditions for hours. I don't fish, and so I can't really appreciate or understand all that he has to tell me. But I stopped worrying about that. Instead, I listened to his joy. I listened to his enthusiasm. I'm listening from my heart. Working on surrendering this block to love has deepened my spiritual understanding so profoundly, so I see all of it as a gift. It was seeing how the way of the ego blocked my joy, and it brought me to learning how the way of love brings me a profound joy and peace. This way of love led me to the practice that I'm currently working with, taught by Dr. Hawkins in The Power of Love, to practice loving everything with the intention of realizing its divinity, to try to uncover the awareness of the divinity of everything that exists, because nothing could exist unless it was divinity. Ram Dass, in Polishing the Mirror, teaches this also. He says, as you grow in devotion and focus more and more on the beloved, you tune into a deeper place within yourself. The emotional, romantic qualities give way to a new kind of love, where finally you see everyone and everything as the beloved, including ourselves. Then the most wonderful realization comes to us that if we are the beloved, then we are channels of divine love. As Dr. Hawkins so beautifully says, divinity flows through our loving, so that when you love someone, you radiate divinity to that person. You bless them with your love. We might say that love is actually the presence of God. God and love are the same thing. When you love someone, you're bringing God into their life. That brings me so much joy. Knowing I'm a channel of divine love allows me to rest peacefully in the truth that although I may not always be perfect at loving, it is always true that my essence is lovingness, just like yours. I love you all. Oh, thank you. And just real quick, while Elisa's setting up, the books that I quoted from, we have many of them in the bookstore. And of course, you can always go to Unity's page on bookshop.org. There's a link to it on our homepage of the Unity website. And then there's notes around that give you the link too. So, thanks.
Thanks so much, Courtney. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
And thank you for all you do for this church and for your community.
Thank you.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is everywhere. And every thought's indeed a prayer.
I call this meditation a love immersion, and I did describe it in my book, A Deeper Joy, if you're interested. It's a meditation practice that I developed where we bathe our hearts in lovingness, really immerse ourselves until we just dissolve into divine lovingness. I have found that when it's practiced regularly, it can help transform and dissolve our negative blocks and patterns and expand and deepen our experience of love. So let's take a moment, take a deep breath, feel if there's any tense areas in the body, and just wiggle those out. And you can close your eyes if you haven't already. I invite you to bring to mind something that easily and effortlessly opens your heart. Maybe it's a person that you love unconditionally. Maybe it's a pet. It could be a moment in your life where your heart felt really full. It can be a saint or divine being or a beautiful place you love to go. Whatever it may be, just bring it to mind for a moment. Now, allow yourself to be immersed in the lovingness inspired by that person, place, or moment. Allow it to flood your being and soften your heart as you feel it fully. Let the lovingness expand and surround you. This field of love is safe, nurturing, and feels like home. Allow your heart to soften and open. Feel the compassion, forgiveness, and gentleness there. Now turn those loving feelings towards yourself. Feel compassion for yourself, gentleness. See your innocence, beauty, and kindness. Now allow yourself to go even deeper, to melt into this loving field and to become one with it. Now there's no longer a you in a field of love. You are the lovingness, the radiance, the peace. You are divine presence, infinite, unconditional lovingness. Just rest in that radiant, divine love for a few moments in the silence. Taking a deep breath, bring that loving awareness back to this space, the room, the body. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes.
May the blessings of God rest upon me. May God's peace abide in me. May God's presence illuminate my heart now and forevermore. May the blessings of God rest upon you. May God's peace abide in you. May God's presence illuminate my heart now and forevermore. May the blessings of God rest upon us. May God's peace abide in us. May God's presence illuminate our hearts now and forevermore. Now and forevermore.
Well, thank you, Courtney. Did you notice that Courtney used a lot of references from great teachers, but the greatest thing that she does is she teaches from her heart. I also want to acknowledge all of you that serve from your heart from the moment the doors are unlocked in this place on Sunday morning. You are the ones that carry on this ministry. And boy, don't you love it? Don't you love it? So many people involved. So one of the things that we do if we love it is we support it. And so I'm going to ask the ushers to come forward and let's support this wonderful place with our offerings, with our abundance, with a portion of what we are. On the screen, there's a blessing for the offering, so let's share that blessing together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
I know you know this one. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. There's nothing you can do that can't be done. There's nothing you can sing that can't be sung. There's nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy. There's nothing you can make that can't be made. No one you can save that can't be saved. There's nothing you can do, but you can learn how to view in time. It's easy. All you need is love. Do-do-do-do-do. All you need is love. Do-do-do-do-do. All you need is love. Love. Love's all you need. All you need is love. Ooh, all you need is love. Ooh, all you need is love. Love, love is all you need. There's nothing you can know that isn't known. There's nothing you can see that isn't shown. Nowhere you can be, you're sure where you were meant to be. It's easy. Everybody now. All you need is love. Ooh, all you need is love. Ooh, all you need is love. Love, love is all you need. One again. All you need is love. Ooh, all you need is love. Do-do-do-do-do. All you need is love. Love, love is all you need. 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 Love is all you need.
Thank you, Elise. Do we have some little ones that are wanting to? No, they're all busy learning about sacred earth back there. So we have a blessing here with volunteer teachers that are teaching the children some very, very wonderful lessons. So we have after service, we've got the lunch bunch going to lunch. Anything else anyone wants to? Be sure to check out the marketplace, the bookstore, check out each other. If you would do that, be wonderful. So let's all circle up and close our service with a peace song and prayer of protection. Okay, the prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.